What is good? What is good, chat? Listen, I got another topic for us today, and we're talking about the idea of awareness and the idea of gossip. Um, in truth, this spawned upon me like out of nowhere, randomly. I just thought about it while I was in the shower. I'm not even gonna lie. I was sitting there and I'm just like, I love this Bible verse. I've said it plenty of times on stream, and it's Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the tongue, and those that love it will eat its fruits. And it just reminded me, that day to day, right? A lot of people go through life and they're unaware of the amount of power that is in the tongue, literally. There's things that we speak into existence. There's things that we say that rewire our brain in real time. So it's very imperative that you're completely aware of what it is that you're saying, how you speak to yourself in your internal dialogue. And so that kind of branches into the idea of how you speak in front of people and what it is that you say to other people and how it is that you operate in front of them. Having an awareness is very tough at times. Um, I like to analyze things a lot. I like to people watch, and I see that a lot of times, especially within people that could potentially be, a little bit of psycho. Everybody has a little crazy, but I think people that tend to be in psychosis um, end up just flowing through life in such a way where they're not even aware of what it is that's happening or transpiring in them. And a lot of these things can be triggered by traumatic experiences, which is nothing to say that people are more or less because of what they go through. But with that being said, we have to be very aware of what it is that we're saying, how it is that we're operating, the internal dialogue that we have, because a lot of times you'll witness that in real time that people are projecting themselves onto other people. And so, in truth, we have to grow up. We have to realize and take accountability for who it is that we are. But saying mean things, saying nasty things, talking down to people is not actually breeding life. And I like to believe at times, and I could be wrong, but I like to believe that, you know, God is good, bro. God is good and God is life, right? And anything that is good will breed life. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily that I could claim it to be one thing or the other, like as if it was good in the moment, because there could be a terrible thing in my life that happens, a traumatic experience that completely shifts my life for the better. Same way that something so positive in my life that I wanted could actually shift me in a negative trajectory. And so with that being said, that's the awareness that you need to have when you approach your day to day. Understanding that people go through their own experiences. It's the idea of Sonder. And I'm not talking about Brent Fayez. I'm talking about the idea of Sonder. Everybody has their own life, everybody has their own experience. You never know what somebody's going through. And the truth of the matter with the idea of Proverbs 18:21 is that when you speak something, it's so powerful. As I said, it can literally rewire your mind within the moments. There's such a thing called hypnotic rhythm. Hypnotic rhythm. And I believe that a lot of times these are the ideas of mantras. People would like to, wake up and repeat something in a mirror and tell themselves like, I love you, you're beautiful. And I love that practice. It's a beautiful thing. I do that with the Bible verses that I remember that are the gifts of God, that God's promises, you know what I mean? And I think that's a great practice. So it's really imperative you understand how effective that is in your day to day, because you can continue to point your finger and tell somebody, good or bad, and they'll believe it. You say it enough times, and it's repetitive. It's second nature. It's something that is embedded within their subconscious. And a lot of the times we're not aware of the idea that your subconscious is actually what it is projecting your reality. In some sense. Now, I'm not a psychologist, and I'm not a professional in any way, shape, or form, especially within the English language or any dialogue of that sort. But I do know one thing, and that the spirit is real. The spirit is real, and there's an evil force and there's a positive force, right? And it's only what we could even identify it as, because we couldn't really comprehend it in the slightest. Um, with that being said, every day I want to bring it back to one foot in front of the other. Every day we have to be very, very aware of the fact that it's a new day, and not not the idea that somebody's going to change within a split second. Not the idea that, you know, you have to subscribe to negative ideas of a person or positive ideas of a person just to like benefit them. No. But what you don't want to do in your day-to-day life is continue to spout negativity out, especially into the world, into the people. Because in truth, and this is again based off of my own experience, I believe that God blesses you through people. And if you continuously feed negativity into the people around you, you're only going to breed more negativity. And you can talk down to people. It's very easy. You can come out of your body to say some very negative and nasty things to people, especially in a moment of just being overcome by your emotions and your feelings. But we have to take a step back, and we have to be very aware of how powerful it is that we are. You can tell yourself, right, that you're gonna lose, and you can tell yourself that you're gonna win, right? Actually, this is the idea. A person that believes they're gonna win and a person that believes they're gonna lose are both right. And so that's the power, not only of thought but of words. You know, when we break down like words down to their etymology, like their origin, a lot of the times we don't even know that we're actually casting spells in some way. And so casting spells sounds very witchcrafty, and I don't like to put it in that manner. Um, but in truth, in all honesty, there is merit behind every single thing that you do. Now, this is not for you to be a stickler in your every day to day life. Like, it's not for you to take everything so seriously, but it's also not for you to talk down upon the people that you actually genuinely love. Even then, you should always be operating in the space of love to be able to, you know, supplement love that's needed across the board. A lot of people don't get love in their day to day life when they come home from work, or when they're just at work, or whatever it is that they're doing in their day-to-day life. A lot of people don't receive the same love that you experience within your own house, right? Or within their day from the people that you experience it from. And I'm a very, very firm believer in peace, love, and prosperity. That's my outro every single time, bringing it back to Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the tongue. If you continuously tell yourself, again, internal dialogue, that you're incapable, that you can't, right? That you try, you're going to continue to manifest this idea within yourself that this is your reality, this is who you are. No, you're not. Speak life into yourself and speak life into the people around you. Because there's only one thing that can happen. It could breed positivity. Even if someone is not yet ready to receive that positivity, that's okay. Because we don't treat people with love just because, you know, we could get something out of it. We treat people with love because that's something that feeds the soul. It's food for the soul. And so we have to capitalize on that, because it's, again, a trickle down effect. If I bring love to the table, everybody gets to eat off of the love that I bring. They're full off of the love, and they bring it back to their families and their people. And it's just a constant, give and take. And I want to just emphasize, speaking on other people as well. Speaking on someone's life could make or break them, because you never know what effect it is that you have on the person around you. You don't know how people see you. You don't know how strongly your heart could affect someone else's. And what may be feeling as if you're speaking to someone's head, right? Somebody's mind, somebody's thoughts, is actually you touching their hearts with your words. And so that's a very, very powerful thing to think about. Like, digest that for a second, feel it in yourself. Think about the fact that what you say could actually affect someone's heart, positive or negative. But just imagine how much more powerful it is when you're aware of the fact that things are happening around you, things are happening around this person's life, and you still go out of your way to be positive and have a positive intention. Not everybody's going to receive that in a positive way, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm not telling anybody how to live their life. You do what it is that you feel that is necessary within your life to continue to progress. As long as you're moving forward, I feel as if you're not stagnant, and life is not just a straight line up. It's up and downs. It's not linear. It's up and down. Um, with that being said, another another thought in the Bible, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's the idea that you allow God in your mind and your thoughts, and allow God to take captive of those thoughts. You don't allow these thoughts to run rampant. You submit them to God. And I feel as if, in truth, that is an attribute of awareness. Having awareness of the thoughts that do pass through your mind, being capable of understanding them, being capable of understanding that other people might be having thoughts as well, not necessarily subscribing to any thoughts, but understanding that they exist. It's a beautiful practice because it allows you to be aware. We can see from that third person view, and we can ultimately analyze and and decipher what is transpiring, in the spirit. A lot of times we're spiritually blind, you know what I mean? And I say that with experience. I say that because I've been there. I've been that person. Just imagine how much more powerful people could walk around more confidently. You know, the burdens that live in people's hearts could be relinquished simply off of you just saying, "Hello, how are you? Good morning. I'm having a wonderful day. How are you?" Even if you receive, listen, I've been going through this, I've been going through that. Be completely genuine, be completely transparent, even if that means that you're not exactly excited to hear. You know what I mean? I want people to understand. And this is because I see things in my day-to-day life that I really genuinely get bothered by sometimes. It's the more you speak negatively, not only on yourself but the people around you, the more effect it'll have. You know what I mean? And that's the bochinche that you go to the next door neighbor to talk about your uncle, this, that, the third, and his girl, and the whoop whoop whoop, and da da da. All of that is fun and games, but it's real. It's real, and this sits in your mind, and people can feel it when you come around. People can feel those things because we're energy. We are energy. You know what I mean? And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to be aware. It's a beautiful thing to understand the effect that you have on the universe. It's a beautiful thing to understand that you have the potential to change something. It's a beautiful thing to know how much power it is that lies within your tongue. And so it's time that you actually utilize that for something so much more than just negativity. And negativity could be anything. I'm speaking very, very open and not very specific, because there's going to be things that resonate with you that you understand that I couldn't even say out in words. You know what I mean? But if no other reason I had to say this, is because of God, and God inspired me today. And so I'm just so grateful that I had the opportunity to speak. But with that being said, Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the tongue, and those that love it will eat its fruit. Chat, listen, be good to yourself, be good to the people around you, even when it's hard, even if you don't have 100% of the energy. You give every single last ounce of what it is that you do have, leave it all on the table, because you never know what might happen tomorrow. With that being said, I love you so much. I appreciate you so much, because you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you keep it with the boy. Peace, love, prosperity. God bless you. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night. And with that being said, peace.